Hey, you're keeping company with Connor, and you're listening to another Town Square Spotlight. I'm really happy to be speaking to our guest again. The first time we had him on in touch, and I was saying, it was because of conversations like the one that I had with him that we were able to create Town Square Spotlight to just spotlight arts and entertainment specifically, and it's really cool to have him back on. He put together this amazing festival, the Meadowlark Festival. It's happening at the Stone Ridge Orchard. Last year was so cool. I was able to stop in for one of the days. I had a blast. Weather was a bit weird, but you know what? We still had a blast, though. And this year it's going to be happening September 13th through the 15th. So here to talk about it, we have founder of Mod Rocker Productions, LLC, and, of course, of the Meadowlark Festival, Dan Leslie. Dan, how are you?
I'm great, Connor. Good to be with you.
It's good to be with you again. Good to see you. New program, but pretty much same thing, same vibes, just new name. But we're really excited to have you back in here. So before we get into the nuts and bolts of necessarily what we're looking at this year, what is the Meadowlark Festival? What has it been for you? This is the second year it's open to the public, but technically this is the third year you've had this. Would you be willing to explain that?
Yeah, so the origins of this thing happened sort of organically. This is grew out of a network of musicians, both touring artists and some local musicians that are sort of in my network, in my bubble here, and we wanted to create something special that allowed them and some folks that we wanted to bring into the fold to do a special sort of outdoor performance. It was the first year kind of a little bit of a trial run. It was sort of an invitation only thing, but we managed to have a really nice experience. We had R.L. Boyce, noted bluesman from Mississippi, come up, and we held it at the Stone Ridge Orchard, which is still our venue, which we also had the event last year. And, sort of the intersection of music and celebrating music from the region, especially both Americana roots music and indie rock and experimental music, alongside sort of the agricultural component, which is part of the event as well. So we're on a farm and we're also supporting some farm advocacy organizations.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just going to read off a few right here that I have in front of me. But this event is helping out with Farm Aid, Rondout Valley Growers Association, Hudson Valley Center for Food, Culture and Agriculture. Am I missing anything there, Dan?
Those are the three that we're highlighting this year, and we're going to be inviting them to sort of share their mission with attendees. We'll have some folks from Farm Aid making some remarks from the stage. We're also doing some raffles of 2 pairs of Farm Aid tickets, which is going to be happening the weekend after us, actually. And for the Rondout Valley Growers Association, we're going to be doing a raffle of a high-end, very nice guitar that's been generously contributed by Zagar Guitars.
Oh, neat.
That'll be available for people to check out in the merch booth. And we'll also be making a contribution to these organizations in terms of a portion of the proceeds of ticket sales. But the Farm Aid connection is a big one. As you know, it's Willie Nelson, Neil Young, Dave Matthews, John Mellencamp, Margot Price.
Yep.
They are having their event in Saratoga the weekend after us, so next weekend. And it's actually not that far. It's kind of near the capital region. So potentially, you could come to Meadowlark. You could win a pair of Farm Aid tickets, and then next weekend head up to Saratoga.
Absolutely. No, I love going to SPAC, and my God, yeah, the fact that it's organized by those 5 musicians, and then they bring in all of their friends, amazing. And let's talk about Farm Aid for a second. So I hear that you and Elizabeth Ryan, Elizabeth, of course, she's the owner of Stone Ridge Orchard, you guys were able to present the donation last year in person there at Farm Aid. Tell us about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. They brought us in. We were able to make it out there. It was in just outside of Indianapolis last year, and so we got to connect with the Farm Aid executive team, and we presented a financial contribution to them, which was a portion of our proceeds from last year's event. Of course, we're hoping to build that relationship and other relationships like that. They're one of obviously many organizations, but they have a particular strong presence, and they also have a national presence, as you know. So this year at their event, they're going to be highlighting a number of farmers and musicians from our region. In fact, Elizabeth, I believe, the owner of Sunridge Orchard, will be, I think, recognized at their event. And they're also, I'm not sure if it's public yet, but I'll just say at least one of the performers from our program will also be performing at Farm Aid.
Ah, very, very cool. You're just going to
Little
have
teaser
to wait.
for you.
Little teaser.
Yeah, yeah.
We won't break any NDAs or anything. We'll just leave it at that. But that's so
Right.
cool. I think that is amazing. And of course, now let's kind of skip forward a little bit. Not quite to this weekend. We're almost to this weekend. I want to talk about the event that you guys held back in August. You had a preview concert at Levon Helm Studios. First of all, Levon Helm, legendary musician, rest in peace, but the studios and the music lives on. That is so cool. Tell us about what that preview concert was all about then.
Yeah, it's a very special place. It's obviously, an institution in the region and one of the premier venues, and a recording studio in its own right. A lot of fantastic records have been made there. So we had three performers from this year's program provide sort of a preview show. We had Lulu Lewis, we had Ryan Lee Crosby, and our headliner was Fruit Bats. It was a solo show with Eric from Fruit Bats, who gave us a really special and somewhat unique sort of solo acoustic performance. A lot of sort of deep cuts and requests and B-sides and stuff. It was a lot of fun. And the folks over there at Levon Helm Studios, I really have to give a shout out to them because it's such a professional team, and they're extremely hospitable and gracious. But that was a lot of fun to kind of give folks a little bit of a taste of what's coming up this weekend.
No, that's cool. I remember Ryan Lee Crosby from last year. He put on a very good performance. And then, of course, Fruit Bats. Fruit Bats, that's a good name that you got there. Looking forward to that. That's really cool. And, of course, so now, we've talked about the past enough. Let's talk about this weekend. Tell us about what people can expect this weekend, some of the stuff that they enjoyed from last year, some new stuff. Tell us what people can get ready for.
Yeah, it's a 3-day program. So this Friday is a more intimate program, Friday evening. It's a Meadowlark in the Round, we call it. It's for singer-songwriters who are going to be sharing stories and music. It's presented by our friends at Keepsake House, which is a music collective in New York that cultivates and curates these sorts of events. They've done events at City Winery and other places. So it's a very intimate sort of setting. It'll be in the cider room at the Orchard, which has a little outdoor patio. It's a nice sort of space. Saturday and Sunday are the main event, and the lineup is at our website, meadowlarkfest.org. But the couple of the highlights from Saturday, of course, will be Fruit Bats, as you said, our headliner, Deer Tick, Larry Campbell and Teresa Williams, and a few other artists, both local and traveling artists. On Sunday, our headliner is Blonde Redhead, which is very special. This is kind of a smaller venue than they're probably used to. They just came off of playing the Primavera Festival in Europe.
Oh, geez.
And yeah, they've been touring in Europe for a while, and this is kind of their I think one of their first shows back in the States. Slaughter Beach Dog, which I only sort of started discovering a few months ago, which is a really terrific up and coming and I would say the folks I've been speaking to, even under 30, seems to be obsessed with Slaughter Beach Dog. They have a really cool sound, a very unique sound. Jeffrey Lewis and the Voltage, Laura Stevenson, Joan Shelley, Daddy Longlegs, and Honey Crush rounding off the Sunday program. We also, for both Saturday and Sunday, will have a second smaller performance space, again, in that cider house, where we're going to have a whole host of local singer-songwriters that we've managed to bring in entirely through public submissions to this venue, this part of our venue. So it will be 2 performance spaces happening side by side for portions of the day, so folks can kind of explore the orchard and explore the food and the drinks, and then kind of wander from one to the other.
That's awesome. That's going to be so cool. And not just that, you guys last year, I remember you had a number of vendors, local vendors, you had some food. Can you talk about that? I actually have a painting from one of the vendors last year. It's still hanging up in my desk. I love it. It's gorgeous.
Cool. That's great. Yeah, it's we have sort of artisanal, artisans and handmade goods, and other vendors that will be on site. The food is going to be a really exciting mix of and drink of items that are in some cases grown or created here on the farm and other farms nearby in the region, including beers from Arrowwood, ciders that have been grown, distilled from apples here on the farm. And they have a fermentation process you can kind of see out there uh, in the field. You be able to learn a little bit more about how they do that. But we have a few food vendors, including Harana Market, which is a James Beard award-winning food purveyor out of Ackerd that's going to be on site as well for both days. And so it's going to be, we have a wood-fired pizza oven, we have a grill, we have a lot of both vegan and vegetarian options too. So it's going to be a nice big array of options for everyone.
I love that. No, I remember just last year, it was a lot of fun, a great survey of a lot of things. The music was fun. So, no, this is such a great event. Now, as we're wrapping up this interview, I want to bring it back to the farms and helping out with the agriculture and everything. Why was this such a big thing for you to include the agricultural side to this, and why this is such a big part of what Meadowlark is?
Well, we wanted to create this out of what we felt represented sort of the spirit and the soul of the Hudson Valley. That was kind of the driving force of this. And so, the two driving themes, the music and the agriculture, sort of come together and intersect in an interesting way. And we thought that would be one way to kind of integrate those concepts together. And so the venue being a working farm, and it's a 115-acre historic 200-year-old working farm, is sort of the perfect place to do that. And so there is an advocacy element here. A lot of the folks who are involved, especially through Stonebridge Orchard and the organizations that we're supporting, kind of are living the realities of independent farmers every day and the struggles that they encounter. And it is sometimes a very touch and go situation. Last year when we had the event, there was sort of a late freeze that actually created a lot of problems for the crop. This year, things are looking a little bit better. You'll see, if you come out, you'll see that the trees are pretty full and it's looking good. But it is a very tough situation that a lot of these farmers find themselves in. So we thought that trying to weave that into the narrative and the mission was an important thing to do.
I think it really is important because, as you said, the Hudson Valley, we got a strong history when it comes to agriculture. And hey, when people hear New York, sure, they might think of the city, but like those who live here, we know how much farmland it is. We know how much it's down into the roots, into the soil. I think that's amazing, and I love the work that you're doing. So, Dan, where can people go to find more information on Meadowlark, where they can find information on the lineups, ticket information, and anything else? Where should they go?
Meadowlarkfest.org is the website. There we've got tickets. We do have advanced tickets available. Those are going to be closed off in the next couple of days leading up to the day of. We might have some walk-ups available, but I would recommend if you want to come to grab those advanced tickets if you can. There's also information about how to get to the venue, what to bring, what not to bring. We have some frequently asked questions and other attendee information on there, along with, of course, the lineup. But you'll get to see all the artists, and also we have this terrific poster that was created by a local illustrator, Maddie Fisher, on there on the homepage. So check it out, and if you have any questions at all, we have a form you can reach out to us, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Terrific. Dan, this is so cool. Break a leg when it comes to the second annual, kind of third year, but second annual Meadowlark Festival. We're really looking forward to it. Dan, again, thank you for your time, and rock on this weekend.
All right. Thanks, Connor. Appreciate it.
Of course.